Hi there, this is the third in the Barely Beginners series for you guys who feel that you want to put in a little bit of work before you try going to a yoga class. So today we are going to do 4 or 5 sitting poses, and what I'd suggest you have handy is a cushion in case you need it and a friendly wall. Now my wall isn't that friendly because it has a radiator and there's Bob, my monkey, but yeah, so find a wall because it'll help you with your poses. Now, when we are doing the sitting poses, we try and have ourselves sitting on our sit bones. So those are the 2 bones in underneath our bum muscles there. And we try and be sitting in contact with those bones so that we're not kind of like hunching back like that, which doesn't have a whole lot of support for our back. And that's why the wall comes in handy, okay? So I'm going to invite you to just play around with what pose suits you just to sit down, because what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a stretchy thing with our arms. So in order to do this, we need to get a sitting posture that isn't bothering us. Now, as you can see, cross-legged is reasonably comfortable for me on some days, not on all, okay? So you might find that cross-legged suits you, or you might find that when you sit up on a cushion that you can kind of sit cross-legged, or maybe cross-legged is just not going to happen for you for whatever reason. Maybe your knees bother you, and maybe it's better for you to sit with your legs stretched out, or maybe out kind of spread eagled like that, or you might find just sitting with your 2 feet together and your knees slightly dropped out, that might work for you. So whatever version of this is good for you, that's cool with me, okay? So find your sitting pose. And of course, use the wall if you need it. So if you feel that you're sitting there and you feel you're kind of rocking back like that and you're not really sitting on your sit bones, that's where the wall comes in, okay? So find your pose, using the wall if you need to. And let's just sit for a moment. Take a breath in, take a breath out. On the inhale, feeling the expansion of your body. On the exhale, feeling the weight of your body and the grounding effect. So these sitting poses are great grounding poses. They're internalizing poses, a lot of them. So yeah, really good at certain times of the day when you feel, I need to ground myself, I want to shut out the world, tell them all to go away. Some of these sitting poses are really good at that time of day. Anyway, back to the sitting. Here we are. You have found your pose. We're just breathing in, and on the exhale, just feeling the weight, the groundedness, the contact of your body with the mat. So we're going to place one hand on the ground, right hand on the ground. The other hand, just place your palm facing the ceiling, and then just bring that arm overhead, or whatever version of overhead that you can do. It might be down here, so what, it just whatever version of that. Now with the hand on the ground, push into that hand as if you're pushing your body away from that hand, or pushing the ground away from you. And it kind of gives an extra stretch to the stretched out side. And allow yourself to breathe into the rib cage, the part of the ribs that are just underneath your armpit, those ones there. Thank you, heater. Breathing in, breathing out. Lovely. Coming back down. And let's do that on the other side. So we plant our left hand, right hand palm upwards, and bringing that overhead. There will probably be a side difference. And then again, pushing into that hand that's on the ground as if you're pushing your body away. Now with your head, watch and see what's comfortable for you. You might have to look down to keep your head comfortable. You might have to look up, or you might have to lean against the wall. That's where the wall comes in. So don't let your neck be uncomfortable for this one. Breathing in, breathing out. And with all yoga poses, remember, pain is not meant to be anywhere in the picture. So no pain, no discomfort, no racing heart, no nausea, nothing like that. If it doesn't feel good, you don't do it. You find the sweet point in your pose. Can I push myself to where I'm doing something, but at the same time not to the point where my breath is starting to struggle or I'm not feeling good. Okay, there is a balance, and you'll learn that in your yoga classes. So there we go. We started with a sitting pose and feeling the grounding effect of sitting down. Now we are going to move to Dandasana, and I'll show you this one away from the wall, but this is a pretty good one to do against the wall as well. So Dandasana is staff pose, and it's where it's actually quite a bit of effort to hold this position, okay? So it's not allowing yourself to round back like that, it's just sitting forward. So you're actually coming forwards with your hips, bringing your belly forwards, arching your lower back, which sometimes kind of allows your shoulders then to kind of go backwards. But this is a really good one to do against the wall. So I'd suggest you do this against the wall, legs out like that. And you might find, oh, I'm kind of rocking back on my sit bones. So we're going to change that. See if you can rock forwards on your sit bone and come away from the wall. So you're coming away from the wall with your belly. So your lower back is kind of arching away from the wall. Your shoulders may still be in contact with the wall. And then you can just flatten back in. So imagine I'm against a wall, here I am, it's my starting position, and then I'm pulling away from that wall, arching my back and using my muscles to hold me upwards. So this is actually quite a strong activator of muscles of your back and actually of your lower belly. So holding that position and seeing, can I breathe? Can I breathe in this position? Breathing. And maybe you can just hold it for a second and you need to take a little rest against the wall. That's fine. Again, remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Baby steps will get you there. Breathing in. So this is really good strengthening pose and prepares you for some of the other sitting poses that you may encounter in a yoga class. Breathing in and breathing out. Lovely. Dandasana, staff pose. Now let's turn that into a stretch. So again, sitting with the legs outstretched, and you can still be against the wall, and then slowly walk your hands down your legs. Now you might find you can't even get beyond your knees, that's fine. Just however far you can go. Keep looking towards your big toes and keep your heart facing those big toes. So it's like as if you're coming forward with your chest, with your heart area. Okay, and just as far as you can go, and just holding that position, breathing in, breathing out, keeping our breath in control. So nice, easy breaths. If you find your breath is going out of control, you need to pull back a little bit from the pose and find a pose that will allow you to breathe comfortably. Okay, and let's turn that into a real grounding, I suppose, internalizing pose. So for this one, just drop your head towards your knees. Now you might find for this one you have to, in fact for all of them, if you have to keep your knees bent a little bit, that is okay. All right, just do what you have to do. So bending your knees if you need to, or putting a cushion under them, or just seeing what version of this pose is good for you. So you might find your hands are on your knees and you're just dropping your head, and that's fine, and just breathing. Never stretching to the point where you feel that your muscles are kind of going to spasm a little bit and you pull back from that point. You will get there eventually, but you have to just go with what's working in your body on a particular day. Excuse me. So here we are. We went from Dandasana to a full kind of a Uttanasana there. So different focuses with very similar poses. Now we are going to do a hip opener pose, the butterfly pose. This is a great pose. I'll show you this in its full extent, and then we can try it in whatever version suits you. So again, my back is straight and I'm going to pull my heels towards my groin, keeping my back straight. Then I'm holding onto my hands, which actually helps. Holding onto my feet, which actually helps, allows me a grip, and then I'm kind of pulling my belly forwards. But again, I would suggest you do this against the wall first of all, because the wall will stop you from kind of haunching back like that. So it'll force you into this position here with your back, and then you can do whatever you have to do with your legs. So you might find that your legs kind of only open up this much. So what? That is your butterfly pose, and just try and enjoy it. So holding on to your feet, seeing if you need to use that wall, or can I pull my belly button forwards like I did in Dandasana? Can I pull my belly away from the wall? Holding onto my feet like this, keeping my elbows straight actually helps because it allows a bit of grip. And then you can play around with how much your knees will drop out to the side. Now, if you, for whatever reason, there is no way you can get yourself into this position, you can also do a half a butterfly. So you would have one leg out and you would have the other leg somewhere up against the thigh. And then you can hold on to that foot with the two hands. And then once again, try and get your back straight, pulling your belly forwards away from the wall, and then just letting the leg drop out. So you can play around with that, and you can even give it a small bit of a push as long as you're not forcing. It actually works better if you actively pull the knees down rather than trying to push with your hands to get them down. So butterfly pose, and you can play around with getting the knees up and down. So if you have been doing a one leg butterfly pose, please change legs now. Remember to breathe. There's a lot going on in this pose. You're stabilizing with your lower muscles. You're allowing your hips to go outwards if they will. You're trying to relax your neck. You're trying to keep your shoulder blades down your back so your shoulders are away from your ears and you're not hunching like that. So there's a lot going on, and you're trying to breathe. So just see if you can watch the interplay, maybe on different breaths. Have different focuses. Maybe for a couple of breaths I'll focus on my hips. Maybe for a couple of breaths I'll focus on getting my lower back straight if I can. So you can do a lot of play with these. There's a lot of things you can work on in this pose. Great stuff. We are now going to turn that into another hip opener. And this is like a wide leg forward fold. So it's getting your legs as wide as is comfortable. If you need to keep your knees a little bit bent, that is okay. Again, the main thing here for the moment is that your back is straight to start with. So again, do this against the wall if you need to, so that your back is well positioned and that your weight is on those sit bones, your ischial tuberosities, as they are known in their full anatomical term, ischial tuberosities. So bring the legs out far as you can, and then you can try and walk forwards. Now some people walk their hands forwards in the middle. I always find it easier to walk my hands down along and then just holding whatever position is comfortable. And I usually find that when I grip my legs like this, I can kind of allow them to let me pull myself forwards so that I'm rolling forwards on my hips, so I'm sitting on those sit bones and I'm not kind of haunching back. So this kind of a movement. So once again, bring your heart area forwards. Bring that heart area forwards. Whatever version of this is good for you. Watch you don't overstretch. Those adductors are really tight in a lot of people, including myself. So I have to be careful when I'm stretching my adductors, because if you kind of get that sensation that if I kind of push a little bit more, it's almost like a slight tearing. It's almost like a tearing is too strong a word, but a feeling that this stretch isn't good. You always stick away from that. Okay, so here we go. Holding, breathing, enjoy. Ooh, just feeling as you breathe out the contact with your upper thighs on the mat, maybe your calves and your sit bones. And then we can turn that once again into that lovely internalizing pose where we drop our head. Drop our head, floppy, relaxed. Now on every out breath, just seeing, can I get a small bit more of myself in contact with the ground? Or if I can't, can I let my breathing relax a little bit more? Try and relax into this one. And if you need to move your legs in closer, do that too, so that you can you can kind of get the max out of this one. And as you can see, this is one I really have to work on. So you're in good company if you're finding this a struggle. Well done. We are going to do one more pose because I think we'll do a seated twist, okay? And the reason I wanted to do this one with you is a lot of people do twists wrong. And if you have a little bit of prep before you go into a yoga class on how to do a basic seated twist, I think that will really help you. So we're going to have one leg long and the other leg bent up so that your knee is facing the ceiling and your foot is on the ground like that. On the same side as the bent knee, place your hand behind you. If you need to come up on your knuckles, do, okay? So place your hand behind you. So you've one leg straight, you've the other leg bent, and you've got the hand placed behind your back like that, or you can put your fingers flat. And then just put your other hand onto that knee and then twist over your shoulder. Now, when you are doing the twist, please start the twist with your belly button. So don't just strain and look over your neck and your shoulder and all of that. No, start the twist with your belly and see if you can actually rotate your belly past your thigh. And you mightn't be able to, but just attempt to twist with your waist and your lower body. And then once you've that bit done, then you can twist your shoulders a little bit and only then look over your shoulder. But really and truly, the biggest mistake people make is they try and do it all with their neck or their shoulder, but actually the twist comes from the waist. And again, sometimes body parts get in the way, but don't worry about that, okay? So just try a couple of breaths in that position. Breathing into the bases of your lungs, breathing out. Breathing into the bases of your lungs and breathing out. Lovely. Let's do the same on the other side. So, stretching out the other leg, bending up one leg, the other leg stretched. The same side as the bent knee is where you're going to prop your hand behind you. So your hand is actually acting as a prop for your spine, if you can. If you have to do this against the wall, please do so. I forgot to say that. So you might need the wall to help you to keep nice and straight with your back, with your hand kind of slightly out to the side. Then put your other hand across onto that bent knee and twisting around. So you're looking towards the side where your knee is bent. Looking over, just twisting, just breathing. Nice and easy and seeing, right, can I ground myself down on each out breath? Can I actually get my sit bones and my thighs and my bum muscles really in contact with the ground when I breathe out? So initiating the twist from my belly, then my shoulders, and only then my neck. Watch your neck in that one. So well done. Those are your sitting poses. So come to lie. Give yourself a couple of minutes in Shavasana after all of that. So Shavasana is horse pose. Just let yourself down. If you need to keep your knees bent, do. Just settling. Just settling. And maybe, if you want to, you can keep your knees bent up and keep your 2 feet together and let your knees drop out to the side. So it's kind of like a sitting butterfly pose, but only if that's comfortable. But that's a nice way of actually stretching into kind of preparing for that butterfly pose as well. Obviously, you don't want to do this if you're in a busy house and there's people walking back and forth. This one is a very open pose, quite a vulnerable body position. So, choose wisely. Otherwise, just lie down, Shavasana. Give yourself a moment to settle. Just do a few breaths. Stay there as long as you want. And I will see you for the 4th lesson in the Barely Beginners series, where we're going to do a couple of standing poses. And then, my friends, you will be ready to join a yoga class. See you soon.